Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today let's take a look at the 2026 Mazda CX-70. This is the Turbo S Premium Plus. It's finished off in Soul Red Crystal Metallic, and with options MSRP is just over $59,000. This is powered by the 3.3 liter inline 6-cylinder turbo. It's also paired with a 48-volt hybrid system along with the 8-speed automatic, and combined it pumps out 340 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the all-wheel drive system. This weighs in around 4,800 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds with a top speed up to 129 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 19.6 gallons, and you'll expect to see it 23 miles per gallon in the city and 28 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 122.8 inches. Its overall length is 200.8. It has a width of 84.9, a height of 68.7, and its ground clearance measures in at 8 inches. Now, as we move on to the exterior styling, this has a really nice design to it. You'll notice there's a combination of gloss black for the entire grille, along with chrome for the Mazda badge. That is also the sensor for distance pacing. There's a camera underneath that, along with some parking sensors integrated into the grille itself. And then this also has a separation between the headlights and high beams and the turn signals and DRLs, which are integrated nicely into that grille surround. You'll notice there's some parking sensors on the trim accents on both sides of the bumper and a large inlet in the lower section, along with some bodywork in that middle there. And there's also a few lines coming down the hood just to give it a great design. Now, this also has a neat look for the two-tone design for the wheels. You'll notice that the fender flares are also body colored as well. There's also an inline 6 badge just behind that. There's power folding side mirrors, which have a camera and a turn signal. There's also black for the window trim. It's on the roof racks, and there's also a full moonroof for this model as well. And you'll notice in the lower section, Mazda is stamped in that chrome accent that leads its way to the front tire there. There's also body colored door handles as well, and with how long this vehicle is, I think the exterior proportions look really nice. Now, as we work our way to the back, there's gloss black for the spoiler, third brake light, and wiper blade, a dark housing for the LEDs, there's a backup camera, parking sensors. There's no exhaust, so it is hidden, just to give you a little bit more clearance underneath from the back. And then when properly equipped, this has a rating up to 5,000 pounds. Now, you can use the control on the key fob or the one underneath, where you'll notice too that brushed accent for the Mazda badge. And then this has a ton of space with the back seats up. So you can definitely place in a lot of items with this added length. You get a little bit of storage under the floor to place some smaller items. You'll notice there's also hooks too. There's a 112 outlet along with a 12 volt, and then you also have the cover, so you can pull that down as needed. Now, you can also fold the back seats down from here. So just push on that release, and you can see just how much more interior space you can get out of this SUV. And then up top, you can either close the liftgate or lock the vehicle. Now, if you do lock the vehicle, there's no proximity door handle on the back here. So you would have to unlock it using the key fob or the driver door there. Now, this also has the tan Nappa leather interior along with some Alcantara. It gives it a fantastic touch. This has sunshades. There's also a lot of storage in the lower section of the door there, and then you have the two-tone design, of course. Now, it doesn't appear that these fold all the way flat, almost all the way flat there, but nonetheless, you have a lot of interior space, and you'll notice too that you have some storage cubbies behind both of them if you need to place in items there. These seats also recline, so those controls are located down on the side, and these seats are adjustable too, so you can move them forwards or backwards depending on if you need even more cargo space and you still have people in the back. Now, at 5'10", I have a good bit of space. There's storage pockets. These are heated seats, there's auxiliaries, your fans, and then all of your controls down below. So you have fan speed, temperature, where you like the air to go, laid out very nicely. And then at 5'10", I have maybe 2 inches or so of headroom, and then I can continue to fold the seat back where I'm not only more comfortable, but I get a little bit more headspace. So this is a really great place to lounge out. You'll notice too, right in the middle, there's the armrest with 2 cup holders, and then you have some pretty large windows, so it's very easy to see from the back there. And then up front, the door panel has your window controls, side mirror adjustments, which are power folding. There's lock and unlock, and then some neat trim accents in the upper section and more storage down below. Now, all of the door sills have CX-70, which is an illuminating badge. And then here is the two-tone design for these seats, which is great to see. They are automatic, of course. And then as we hop in, there's more two-tone for the leather steering wheel. And then let's start this up. where this is equipped with paddle shifters. So those are on both sides. On the left, there's volume, tuning, along with info, and then Bluetooth and voice commands. So if you push on info, this is how you can go through, of course, some information within the digital gauge cluster. So you can get into all of this information here on that right side, just depending on what you'd like to see. The rest of the gauge cluster is going to be fixed. Now on the right side, all the cruise control settings along with steering assist as well. Now on the left, there's also the intelligent safety, so you can turn this on and off for some of those tech features. There's parking sensors, traction control. This is the engine start stop. You do have to push on and hold on this every time you start the vehicle if you don't want that to engage. Underneath that, there's a lift gate along with memory seating adjustments. There's one air vent, Bose for the audio, and then with the infotainment system, you have a good bit to go through. Now currently, without my phone paired, this is not a touchscreen system. So you do have to go down below where you have some shortcuts. There's also volume and a favorites and the rotary dial. So this is how you can further go through all of this information. Just by pushing on home, we can get to this screen right here. So you have information that you can click on. You can monitor some of that. You can easily go back, go into your entertainment and a phone. You can even pull up the navigation to get into those settings there. And then you have different settings that you can gain access to set this up as needed. Now, if you do have your phone paired, you'll notice there's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and the screen can be touchscreen for some of those settings. You'll notice too, there's more of the Alcantara underneath that with hazards. Vents are underneath that, and then there's all the climate adjustments. So there's fan speed, where you'd like the air to go, and then temperatures are on the left and the right here, along with sync. This gets a heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats, which is nice, and then some defrosters, and you can also adjust the rears from up front too. Now there's also wireless charging with an auxiliary. There's cup holders, which you can hide away. And then there's also auto hold and the e-brake. And this has a few different driving modes. So there's sport, normal, and off-road. Now this is how you put the vehicle into reverse. There's a release up front. Simply just push it to the right. So now you're from park to reverse. And you can pull up the camera system along with the top-down view. Now again, since it's not a touchscreen system, you have to use the rotary dial to go through the different angles here. And then I can put it into drive, and then now we have those same angles, and you can go through a few. Now, if you happen to be in reverse or even park, you can push this camera system button behind that, and you can quickly pull it up and shut it off. There's also a downhill assist, and then a split design for the armrest, where there's a few auxiliaries. There's also the glove box with plenty of space, and then garage door buttons up top. There's a sunglass holder and dome lights too. And then of course the controls for the sunroof and sunshade. And then here's a look at visibility. For a long vehicle, it's actually pretty easy to see all around. As we set up behind the wheel now for the CX-70, I have been able to drive other Mazda SUVs, but this is a first for this particular model here. For the last week of having this, it's been a really nice vehicle. We went on a short trip with this, had 4 people in it, packed with some other items too, and it was definitely very spacious for 4 adults with the cargo space that this has to offer. So if you're looking for a larger 2-row SUV, if you wanted to add that 3rd row, you can go with the CX-90. I'm not sure if it's any longer, since you could tell that this model had what would be the storage bins for that 3rd row. It might be similar to this. So if you want the 3rd row, you have the option. If you don't want it, you still have plenty of cargo space and room for 5 people. With driving this over the last week too, it's been super comfortable, both highway driving and city driving like I'm doing right now. I honestly really don't have any complaints. I did have some passengers who thought the seats were a little bit hard, so maybe just your personal preference or your body type and size. It could vary, of course, from person to person. However, for me, for being the driver, it's been pretty nice. At 5'10", I have plenty of headroom as well. And this is a height adjustable seat, so you could be a little bit taller than me and still fit comfortably. We have the automatic adjustment for the steering wheel too. So you can definitely get nice and comfortable behind the wheel of this vehicle. Now let's go ahead and put it into sport mode. There's no way to activate the paddle shifters other than just pushing on them. So it is interesting to see that you don't have like a sport mode for the shifter, but if you would like to use the paddle shifters behind the wheel, simply just tap on one. You will be able to see on the left side what gear you're in. So from 2nd gear, this is pedal to the floor. And with a slight acceleration, we are up to speed. Now, I think it's pretty adequate for this type of vehicle. and it has plenty to get up and move. So you could merge onto the highway and feel confident in the power that this has. Now we are still in the paddle shift mode. If you don't shift for a period of time that was probably 15 seconds or less, it automatically goes back to D. So you don't have to worry about putting it back into normal drive. So I guess that is the trade-off with not actually putting it into a sport mode. It just does it for you. So if you happen to hit them accidentally, you'll go back into drive, which is a nice feature. Now they are there if you want to do some performance or some sporty style driving, just with the shifting at least. And in terms of its handling, it actually is a pretty solid SUV. It takes turns very well. It's not a tall vehicle either, so that helps with lowering its center of gravity, but coming around these turns at normal speed, it seems pretty solid and planted. So while it's not a performance SUV by any means, it's definitely a vehicle that you can feel confident in driving, especially if you're going on some long trips, you're going to the mountains, something like that. You have the all-wheel drive system as well, but it is front-wheel drive biased. So you do have that system and it will work accordingly depending on where you need the power. And still in sport mode, second gear, here's pedal to the floor. And just like that, we can get up and move. And the paddles are surprisingly pretty responsive too, which is nice to see. And this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the CX-70. I think this is a really good spec. The red on tan is a perfect combo. Of course, you can go with some other color schemes and options, just depending on what suits you best, but a really nice spec for this top trim level. So if you're looking for a larger two-row SUV for around 60 grand, this is a great competitor with some of the other brands and what they have to offer. I would say it's a little bit more simple, especially since we don't have that full touch screen all of the time. That is my one complaint with Mazdas in general. I do wish they were touchscreen more frequently or often, but of course, with distracted driving today, Mazda has some of those just to keep you safer, and you can quickly use these down below. So if you like using these controls here, I think it's great. It does work. I personally I like the touchscreen aspect of it, but we also have a lot of important information down below that you can quickly access. So I think it's a really good integration that not everything is in the screen simply because it's not touchscreen, and that is my kind of gripe with that. But overall, a lot of people do like how it works. And as far as the turning radius goes, for being a lengthy vehicle, it's actually really easy to drive. So it's great to maneuver and park, and then has a good bit of power to get up and move. So with the Mazda CX-70, we have a lengthy two-row, and it's a great daily driver. So this would be great for commuting, going on adventures, going on trips. You have a good bit of ground clearance as well to help you with that. Realistically, you're probably not going to be towing with this, even though Mazda rates it at 5,000 pounds. I could see some smaller trailers, maybe 3,000, if that, somewhere around there. So you could hook up some lawn equipment or some dirt bikes. You could put a bike rack on the back for mountain bikes or kayaks or whatever it may be, and you have some ground clearance to get you through those situations. So I think it's a really nice, somewhat of an adventure type SUV with the all-wheel drive system. That's definitely helpful too. And you have a vehicle that is simple, effective, and a great daily driver. So I hope you all enjoyed today's review with the 2026 Mazda CX-70. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads, and I will see you all in the next video.